Hello and welcome everyone to another ShaguPlates video for WoW. Today we're going to cover everything add-ons. Whether you're brand new to WoW or a classic Andy, this guide will help you set up and customize your own UI using add-ons that actually work on the 1.12 client. We'll cover everything from UNITFrames, WeakAuras, nameplates, cast bars, auction house tools, and more. Now, if you're anything like me, your UI is something very important. It's personal.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
When I joined WoW, I wanted to recreate my old UI I knew and loved from Classic, but I ran into a problem. Most add-ons made for Classic or Retail WoW don't work on the 1.12 client. So, I went on a mission to rebuild my Classic UI using the available 1.12 add-ons for WoW. And in this video, I will show you exactly how I did it. But before we get into the actual tinkering with the add-ons, there is a mod that I highly suggest you get, and that is SuperWoW. SuperWoW is a mod that will enhance and add functionality to certain add-ons, most notably being ShaguPlates that we will be using. It will add accurate nameplate cast bars. So to get this, you will press here, which will send you to the download site. You scroll down to instructions and press the release link, which will send you here. Now, this is an issue that some people run into where if they try to download it on Chrome, it will get blocked. So a way to get around this is to open the link in Explorer and then try to download it there, which boom, it works. So once you have it downloaded, you open the folder where you downloaded it to. I have it already installed here and then placed it in a mods/add-ons folder. Extract it, SuperWoW right here. Extract all, which will give you the extracted folder here. You open it, you select all, and then drag into your WoW folder to your left here. And then just drop it. And from now on, instead of using the WoW launcher, you will be using the SuperWoW launcher instead. All right, now to the actual downloading of add-ons. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with this. If so, you can just skip this part. But if you're not, the easiest way of downloading add-ons is to use the WoW launcher and go to the add-ons window. And there are a few available here, a list of add-ons that they suggest you get or are very popular. I haven't gotten all of them, but a few. And if the add-on is not on this list, you go to Add New Add-on, where you will enter a Git link. I will show you this in a second. You press the WoW wiki, which will open the window up here. I already had it open. And you'll go to, there's a list here, good information about add-ons in general. But if there's a certain add-on that you're looking for, the easiest way is to search it. Let's take OmniCC. You press the link. It will send you to the download site. And you press the code icon here. And you get the GitHub link, and you copy URL to clipboard. You go over to the WoW launcher. You paste it in like this, and then you just press install. Since I already have it, I'm not going to download it again. But that's pretty much how it works as far as downloading add-ons. So now let's get into actually modifying the add-ons that we've downloaded. Here is a list of all the add-ons that I will be using to recreate my classic UI. I will be linking all of them down in the description, and I will also provide a download for my custom modifications to LunaUnitFrames, which makes it possible to have a separate cast bar, a separate mana bar, and a separate rage bar. You will see this later, but that's going to be one of the biggest contributors to recreating the heads-up display from my classic UI. So that's what's coming up, and we're going to start with LunaUnitFrames actually. One of the big add-ons that are missing from the 1.12 client is WeakAuras, which is a very powerful add-on that can be used to create almost anything. I mainly use it to create this heads-up display that you can see here, where it shows my biggest cooldowns, my mana bar, and my cast bar. Since this is not available on the 1.12 client, we are going to have to use different add-ons to substitute different parts of this heads-up display. And LunaUnitFrames is one of them. We're going to be using it to recreate the mana bar, the cast bar, and then of course the unit frames that you see on the side here. Now, if you've downloaded all the add-ons that are linked down below, you're going to have a whole list of add-ons as you load into the game. One thing that you will notice here is that you will have two LunaUnitFrames, LunaUnitFrame 1 and 2. This is the custom one that I've made by going into the Lua code and changing different parameters so it will load as a separate add-on. To make it work, to customize these two individually, you will have to disable one and then modify the other, disable this and then modify the second one. And once you're happy with the modifications, you enable both of them and they will overlay as two separate add-ons. So we will start by modifying the main parts of the unit frame. So we disable the second one. All right, so if LunaUnitFrame is loaded successfully, you are gonna see your player unit frame up here. And if you wanna modify it further, you go and press the mini button right here. This is another great add-on, mini map button bag. I will link this as well. All right, so through this window, we will make all the modifications to the unit frames. We will start by pressing config mode, which will load in all the different parts. I like to go into the different aspects that are like cluttering the screen and disable them. So I will disable the raid frame. I will disable party frame and party pets, as we will mainly focus on the player frame and target frame. We are going to be using the target of target as well though. So these are the ones that we are mainly going to be focusing on. We are going to disable pet as well. All right, so let's start with the player frame. Another great add-on that I use to align everything symmetrically is Align. It's a very old, very classic add-on which puts a grid on your screen here. Another great thing is if you're using add-ons that are launched by a command, just make a macro for them like this, and you can put them on your bar and then just press them whenever you need it. So Align will be used to center the different frames here. We'll click it off now so we see the modifications that I make to my player frame first. So you can modify the height and width. I've taken a screenshot of my what I have, and I usually go, that's the wrong one. Okay, make sure you are on player. I usually go 52 on height and I go 165 on width. I use the one scale. I then go down here, and these are indicators, the little things you see on the side here. I kind of want to remove my class. I don't think that's necessary. I know what class I am. The other icons are actually useful, so those will stay. Then let's go down to combat text. I kind of like to have the combat text in the middle, so I will put it there. I will remove the portrait, and I will also remove the power bar, and that's because we will use the other Luna to recreate the power bar. So now it pretty much looks like I want it. We are going to be placing it roughly, I actually saved these, 461, like that, and 534. All right. So that's about where I want it. Okay, let's move on to the target. We have the target here. Again, we will use 52 in height and width, 165 in width. We do want these indicators. We want the combat text to be in the center. We do not want the portrait. We do not want the class. And I am happy with the Auras. The Auras you can change. This, for example, also cast bar. If you unclick this, the potential cast bar that targets will have will show. If you hide it, it will show only when they're casting. But since we were going to use an add-on to show cast bars on the nameplates of the mobs, this is not something that I'm really using or looking at. Healing predictions is a very powerful tool that LunaUnitFrames has. But yes, you can either choose to only showcase debuffs or buffs on your targets. I like to have both. And then you can change the size of them here. Let's use the align tool, 4 blocks and a half about, so it's supposed to be like right here. For the target of target, I like to make it like really small, like this. I unclick all of these indicators. I remove the portrait. I remove the power bar, and you can also remove like the text here. I like to have the name. You can remove that, and then I put the name in the middle. That's not the middle. So the name will be in the middle here now. And then I can kind of resize this again. And then I can put that like about here, or next to my name like this. So if I see my name pop up here, I pulled aggro, for example, if I'm doing a dungeon or a raid or something. Okay, that's about it for the LunaUnitFrame part. Now let's move on to the cast bar and the power bar. All right, so now for the second part of the Uniframe. You want to log out once you're done with the first part. You want to unclick the first LunaUnitFrames and then enable the LunaUnitFrames 2. Press OK and then log in. So now when you're logged in, you are going to have the same thing with Uniframe up here. But if you go into your add-ons, you will see that it's LunaUnitFrames 2 that we're working with. So with this, we're only going to want a mana bar and a cast bar. So we can, from the start, just disable all of the other parts. That's the only thing that we're going to want to load is our player frame with the cast bar and the mana bar. And then press config mode, like this, so we can actually modify it. And as you can see, this is the only thing that's loading now because we've disabled everything else. So we go into the player frame. Now, what we wanna disable all of these indicators. We only wanna see a nice clean cast bar and mana bar. We wanna remove combat text. We wanna remove the portrait. We wanna remove the health bar because we only want the mana bar, the power bar that is. And then we wanna unhide the cast bar because we want the cast bar to be showing. Now you can modify the text for the power bar, for example, if you want the mana you have to be showed in the center, which I like to have. You can show it right there, and you can increase the size, and then you can remove the text that's displayed right here. So now you have a clean cast bar. So what you can do now is just log out, turn the main uniframe on again, so both are turned on, and then log back into the game. All right, so once you're back in the game, you'll see that both uniframes are now loaded. And if you try to edit them, like the uniframes, the both 1 and 2, when they're both activated and loaded, you will see that things aren't really working as it should. Things aren't displayed and things are a bit wonky. However, the thing that you can change with both of them loaded is if you go into config mode, it will only affect the cast bar or the second uniframe. So with both of them loaded, is a great chance to actually resize and put into place where you want the cast and mana bar. So that's a good thing. I'm happy with that placement. I exit config mode, and we are done with the first part of the add-on recreation. Now it's time to recreate the second part of the heads-up display that previously is using WeakAuras. This you can see here, and we will also recreate the bars down below shown there. To achieve this, we will be using Bongos, which is a very good add-on. It works exactly the same as Dominoes, if you are familiar with that one for Classic. So once in the game, if you have Bongos downloaded, you can either /type Bongos to bring up the options list, or you can do as I like to do, create a macro for it, /Bongos, put it on my bar, and press it. Once you have it pressed, the option window up, you press lock button to show all the buttons. I've disabled most of them here to make it easier to see the first part. So when you load in for like new, it's probably going to show up something like this. So for the actual heads-up display, I want to grab this bar. As I can see, this is the one that I'm using for this part right here. I right-click it, and I change the rows to 2 rows. I bring it down here. I see that I wanted the width of the cast bar. Go to scale and drag it down slightly. That seems about centered. And boom. We now have our heads-up display. For the rest of the abilities, we go to lock bars again. I can see that the ones I'm mainly using are these 3. I think I'm used to like a very small scale, 7:1. And then the rows, I like to do 3 rows. I do the same for all of the other ones. Scale 75, rows 3. The last one, scale 75, 3 rows. I bring it down here. I move this one that I put there for just ease of use. They will like lock onto each other, so you can fan out which one is the one that's carrying all of them. I'm not going to use the Align add-on again. Press that, reactivate Bongos, and center this right in the frame. I can also use this to center nicely like that. We turn off Align. This part looks good now. For the other parts, let's hide this bar. This I like to keep down in the corner. Bring down the scale to spacing like that. I like to keep that there. Same with this. Bring it down a scale. Do 2 rows. Put it right there. And this, I think I also put this above like this, 2 rows. And boom. Yes, also from the add-on, I have like a little display here, which previously was used by WeakAuras, but since I don't have that, what you can do is you go to size, remove until you have 3 bars up, bring it down to size, put it right over your bar right there. You can hide this one. This is the roll when you get rolls. And the cast bar that comes with Bongos is really ugly. So to hide that one, just bring the opacity down to 0. And that won't be shown. So if you cast something now, that won't be shown, but this will. This was something I forgot to remove. You go back into Luna, you have to deactivate the first one and then hide or remove the cast bar, so this isn't shown because we already have the cast bar here. All right, so the heads-up display is pretty much done right now. The last part that we are going to add is MageHUD and MPOWA. All right, for the MPOWA and MageHUD, the MageHUD is basically comes ready to use. You can make some configurations to it by typing MageHUD space config. It will bring up this little window here. You can change, it's the combined one that's mainly gonna be edited. Like you can change which side it's on, if it's more up or down or more to the side. I don't think I've edited at all, actually. I'm just using how it comes preloaded. So I won't show how to edit that too much. But what I will show is MPOWA, which can be modified MPOWA, which can be a bit tricky to edit. So for MPOWA, that was showing this little cooldown here to show how long my ice barrier is up. What you do is you go into edit, you add an aura and then edit aura. You write the exact name of the buff here. If it's correctly written and identified, if you have it on, for example, it's going to show in the center of the screen. You can then change its position on the X or Y axle. I think it's supposed to be there. And then change the size of the icon. And if you want to add a timer, you go to the timer, click that one. And if you want to use your own color, like I do, you press use own color and choose which color you want. And then you can change the size of the text. And that's pretty much all I use for the MPOWA. So the ones that are like of interest is Ice Barrier, Mana Shield. You can now see that my X position is a bit off. And let's see. Yes, Exit Strategy that I want to see. So those are the ones that I'm using. And if I have a lip active, that will show as well. So that's it for MPOWA and MageHUD. All right, for the last part, two quick add-ons which are very good. The first that I will show before I get into the nameplates is ItemRack, which you will activate if you have it downloaded. It's a very good add-on. You either right-click here to see the different sets you have. You can create like a naked set or your normal set. If you are a warrior, you can use it to switch between a shield or two-handers, for example. You can bind these to keys. You can see here I have it bound to 0 numpad, so I can just switch between them quickly. But if you also want to see your trinkets, you hold Alt and left click, and they will display them right here. Unedited, they will display them at the center of the screen, like right here, and then you can resize it the way you want. We want it to be about as the same size as the icons right here, something like that. And I want them right above my target frame, and then you lock it. And if you want to move it again, you hold Alt, left click, and then you just wait for a few seconds, and then it will load here. And then you press the lock button to unlock it. Now to the nameplates. I'm using ShaguPlates. It's a very good add-on. This is what I've set up. Things that to take note of is at the start, the vertical offset is going to be 0, which for some mobs is fine, but for other mobs, it's like almost like inside their frame, like in their model. So it's a bit annoying. I like to keep it like pretty high. I think I had it at 24. It just makes it easier. You can also enable them to either like stack on top of each other or overlap like this. For me, I like them to overlap because if I have a ton of mobs, I don't want like a tower of nameplates. I like these like square borders is what I'm used to. So I have unticked use blister borders. If that is ticked, they will be rounded, which I do not like. A cool thing you can do with this, which is very, very helpful if you're playing a warrior, is change the color values here under SuperWoW settings. And if the mob is attacking you, you can change that to green, for example, which means that you're currently holding aggro. And if it's attacking someone else, you can change that to blue, for example, which indicates that you've lost aggro. That is a very useful tool to substitute, for example, threat plates, which I use on Classic. And then you can, of course, change the font, change the height of it, like make it smaller or bigger, for example. And then you can see the auras at the top here. You can change the size of the debuffs here, change the size of them, and the offset. Now I, for example, yes, I added a funny thing. So yeah, you can play around with that, make it as you want. I'm not going to show too much of it, but it's a very good add-on, and it pretty much substitutes threat plates which I'm used to on Classic WoW. The last two add-ons that I will show, one of them is a very easy and good one. I use it on Classic. It's OmniCC, and it just puts a countdown timer on your abilities in a good, nice size and a good, nice color. I've used it forever. You just download it and it works as intended. So that's the first one. The second one is Aux, or I don't know what it's short for, but it's a very nice and easy auction house add-on, which makes it easy to post items on the auction house. It's very easy to just like, if you want to post, you go to post. If you want to change it to post in a stack of 3 or 1, you want to change it to 24 hours, whatever, and then just press post, and it will post all of them for you. Very powerful, very good. It works exactly the same on Classic. You can also use it to like do filtered searches. Me waiting for Freezing Band to come up on the auction house, or yes, like do directed searches like this. You go into the filter builder and you add. You want to look for a weapon. You want a one-handed axe. You want it to be epic, and you want it to be 50 to 60. Boom, deep wounds. That's a good axe. 120 gold. So that's a very powerful, good auction house add-on that I used for many years, which thankfully is available on the 1.12 client. I think we are pretty much done, folks. We've created the UI. I'm gonna show you a side-by-side comparison of the final product shortly here. And of course, everyone's UI is going to be different. What you like, I don't like, and etc. etc. This video was just meant to show you the different parts I use, especially this little hack or whatever you call it that I've done for the cast bar and the mana bar, and to kind of show that it's still possible to get the same feel of the classic UI with the WeakAuras that are not possible on the 1.12 client. But if you're creative, you can recreate parts of it using different add-ons, like we've done here with ItemRack, Bongos, LunaUnitFrames. So, and of course the PowerAuras with the MageHUD and the modified PowerAura add-on. I understand that the last part became kind of rambling. It was hard to make everything concise and write a script for everything, but hopefully this helped at least some people out there to figure out how to modify and personalize your add-on. So yeah, that's about it, folks. And here's the final product.